Yo, what's going on guys? SeanB here, and today we are going to talk about the balance patch after the World Championship 2019. It's gonna be a really good patch with buff relevant to both PvE and PvP. Also, no Lawrence nerfs, suck on that Lawrence hater. And also, no BJR5 nerf, which means you should be building your BJR5 right now and get your legendary grindstone. But anyway, let's dive into the balance patch. First off, we have a Veromos buff, which is really amazing. Veromos will now heal AoE according to the number of harmful effects cleansed. So, if you are running Veromos in Giants B10 or Dragons B10, you constantly receive debuff, which means Veromos can constantly heal your entire team. It makes your team even safer now with Veromos in the team. If you use Veromos in late game against John in guild battle specifically, he will now heal the entire team by cleansing the provoke. That is also pretty awesome. One of the most popular defense are John, Chandra, and Perna. So you are constantly receiving slow debuff and provoke. So you are always healing your wind tank and your damage dealer, which is really good. They buffed the entire account girl family except for the dark one because the dark one is pretty okay. Annabelle received a 2-turn slow debuff in her skill 3. It makes her a more solid choice in R5 as a cleanser. Also, if you're using her to set up defense break in guild battle, the slow debuff will stop the enemy from getting out the 3-turn defense break. It is already hard to get out the 3-turn defense break from Annabelle. The slow debuff on top of that will make it even harder to get out of it. Rika's continuous damage duration increased from 2 turns to 3 turns. In the past, she would do 3 hit and put 3 continuous damage for 2 turns. That is 30% of enemy HP, ignoring defense. Now, it increased to 45%. In TOA, it means if your Rika move twice with Fire Guardian Angel, you are more or less gonna kill the entire stage with 80 to 90% ignore defense damage. Charlotte buff, she will now increase the attack bar of all allies by 20%. So it further increased the gap between two teams' attack bar after she used Wind Guardian Angel. But honestly, I think she should be putting out either a slow debuff on enemy or giving your team a speed buff. The light account girl Laura, whoever owns this unit know that she's pretty underwhelming. So how do Comtour's buff very underwhelming unit? It either allow the unit to buff immunity or strip. Account girl light Laura received the strip treatment. She will now remove one beneficial effect with a 50% chance with skill 3, and right now in the skill up benefit she will receive a 10% increase in harmful effect rate. So hopefully we will see a 10% increase in strip chance. It will become 60% with a 3-hit skill. It will also buff defense, which means if you use her in a bruiser setup with double immunity and defense scaling unit, she will now strip, maybe violent proc into a AoE stun and slow debuff. I think that's pretty solid. I'm going to be playing with her on Raigeki account, who is a G3 player, so we're going to see a G3 Laura in action. Dragon Light Armageddon damage increased by 10%. So the Light Dragon can do a solid huge amount of damage, we all know that. Damage increase even crazier. I think it's kind of not needed, but thank you. I can also borrow a Light Dragon from a G1 player Xiaomi to see the damage increase. Dark Dragon Dark Storm Thunder increase to 15%. I think it's still a joke. Vampire Lord buff. Okay, DayZB is pretty happy with this. The duration for his buff changed from 2 turns to 3 turns. This is gonna be really good in Rift Beast because longer attack buff duration means more damage. It doesn't really matter in dungeon because if I use the Vampire Lord in dungeon, I only want him to buff attack power in the last stage, the boss stage. So you don't really need a 3-turn buff for that. But still, it's gonna be pretty decent in Rift Beast. They buff Vampire Lord damage by 8%. Welcome. They buff the other vampire damage by 8%, like that's gonna matter. Dark Vampire got buffed. He can now absorb attack bar of the enemy. I think just make him a bit better in R5, you know, decrease attack bar. 15% is not really that much in PvP. Dragon Knight Justice will now ignore damage reduction effect. The water or the fire one can potentially one-shot a Shiho, because Shiho are usually built with speed to damage attack because they rely on the invincibility to stay alive and the immunity as well. But Dragon Knight can really do some solid damage. Ignoring that invincibility entirely, the water and the fire one can one-shot Shiho very easily. If your Chow or your Leica can do 20k with maybe a simple attack buff, that's gonna be pretty scary for Shiho, especially when you pick Shiho to counter Leica. Now Leica can destroy your Shiho even with invincibility effect. The Light one received this buff as well. Also, they buffed the Light Dragon Knight to be pretty hard hitting. The Light Dragon Knight will now receive damage stacked when allies are attacked or granted with harmful effect. So if enemy go with an AoE debuff attack, right? The Dragon Knight Light will receive full stack immediately, even if enemy is using Hathor. So you put like a 2-turn sleep on everybody except for the Dragon Knight, boom, 3 stack appear. And that is 150% more attack power. Also, he counter attack with 30% chance when attacked. So this will allow him to gain stack much faster while revenging, because usually you single out the Light Dragon Knight and then you're trying to beat him. And he's gonna hurt real bad. This is a very nice buff to Praha because she's kinda underwhelming, but now she can be potentially sleeping your entire team for 1 turn, which is pretty cool. Polar Queen Fire damage increased by 18%. Great stuff. I think this line was made by an intern. Chimera Water Crush increased damage by 18%. What's the point? Fire Monkey King get a buff. Thank God, because this guy used to be the best pick against CC Com, but now with the addition of Lauren, Asia, Vanessa into the meta, Fire Monkey King is like whatever, you know, you don't really give a shit about him, he doesn't move. This is the first of its kind, increase resistance by 5% when attacked, which means he can potentially get 50% resistance increase. So you should build your Fire Monkey King with 50% in resistance so that you will have 100% rest at the late game stage. But still, if the enemy built 85 accuracy, this is kind of meaningless. But in the lower level, people don't really have that max accuracy on every single unit, so this might become really handy in the late game. They buffed the Dryad family. Not bad, increased healing, okay. Oblivion state from 2 turns to 3 turns, okay. The Light one HP and recovery increased. They just become a little bit better for whoever used them. Nothing really crazy happened here. They buffing the Sniper too. I think it's pretty needed, because only the water is really used by players, not the rest of the family. This is the real buff to the Sniper. Disable the hidden aim bows after you attack on your turn. You can revenge all you want in the pose without losing the hidden aim, which means you can build your Sniper on full revenge, allowing a Konamiya to boost him to get turn 1, and then you would just sit there and revenge every single thing. That sounds pretty cool, right? That sounds pretty cool. I'm gonna try that out. Here, this is the one I really like. Sylph Dark Nightfall now block beneficial effect for 2 turns. This is insane against Violent, Wusa, and Fran. Okay? You see in the tournament, the Wusa take 1 turn and that's it. So with this, if you fail to sleep the Wusa or the Fran, they wake up or they violent proc out your sleep, they can't buff. That's pretty crazy. I like that. Once again, if you want a unit to be popular, either give it a strip ability or immunity. The Windhawk got the immunity treatment. Grants immunity on the ally with no harmful effect to be removed for 2 turns. Another immunity unit in the roster. They are buffing the Death Knight too. Water Wind Dark Beast Hunter will now get a debuff scaling damage increase. Okay. They're trying to push these guys into R5. Not bad. Beast Hunter Water can now decrease defense if you're attacking enemy with no beneficial effect, usually bosses. Fire Beast Hunter, it doesn't say whether the effect is added or you are modifying the skill, because in the original skill description, he get the 20% activation chance already, and here is still 20% activation chance. And it is also going to be increased up to 50%. So is the harmful effect thing still here or not? Beast Hunter Dark damage increased by 12%. That is pretty generic. Beast Hunter Wind, he will now remove all beneficial effect on the target, weaken defense for 2 turns, increase the glancing chance hit for 2 turns, 90% each, probably become 100 with skill up, and increase attack bar by 50% and you land a critical hit. Another single target strip that can allow you to one-shot something. When you want to make a unit OP, just put in strip and you'll be fine. And also, the Dark Vampire will remove one beneficial effect on the enemy with a 50% chance. See that? Another unit with a strip effect. Another global speed leader for the RTA roster. I like that a lot because you may use this guy in TOA too because he can sleep enemy for 2 turns, and the attack speed leader for dungeon is kind of meaningless. So now he become better in generic PvE use and especially RTA. I'm gonna be using him so much. Overall, no nerf to popular unit like Hathor, Lauren, Vert, Asia, LD Nat5 whatsoever, but they do notice and buff many underwhelming families. I really like that. And we may see more Dragon Knight, we may see some Cowgirl, we may see Praha doing some AoE sleep clutch, we may see more Fire Monkey in the meta, and I want to see the Dark Seal rise. What do you guys think about the patch? Let me know down below. That was my thought. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys when I test all these things out because I have almost everything here. Alright? See you guys then. Bye!